start. You've got time.
Hold on.
Hey. Hey, everybody.
You brat.
We are live. Okay. I think something came up with Carrie. She was going to join us, but she got me a Moni, and Moni's going to take the helm on the Danarys overview, and I'm going to do the Eddard 14, which is where we are in the book. And sorry about last week. I actually ended up getting called into work. I'm always off on Thursdays. That's one of the reasons I was working there, because they accommodated me, and didn't get off till 7:10, and then I had to get dinner. Moni, as y'all know, is a school teacher, and she had that open house thing, like back to school when the parents come and visit the classroom.
So I was there till
so she was just
and I was
through.
whipped.
So she was just through. And Carrie actually had Carrie's daughter is a junior in high school, and she is the lead percussionist in their award-winning band. In fact, Carrie's going to come down here and visit me. Her daughter's band has been picked to play at the Sugar Bowl. So very cool, right here in New Orleans. So
super cool, yeah.
Going to get to meet her. So I want to give a quick hello to Brandwick, Amanda Duncan, of course, Nancy T in the chat.
Yes.
Thanks so much for joining us. As I was telling y'all in the chat, what I love about these two chapters is they are very well represented in the book. We're going to have Danarys eating the horse heart, and we're going to have Viserys' death, and we're going to have
the show.
Yes, and in the book and the show is what I'm saying. Yeah. It's very well represented in both, and we're going to. I agree, Amanda Duncan. A good there's no better memory than when I stand in my front yard and hear the band from the high school down the street from me. That takes me back to being in high school, and I love that. But anyway, and then we're going to have Ned get turned on in the throne room, Littlefinger holding that dagger to his neck, saying, "You should have trusted me." All in the books, well represented in the show. So 2 good chapters. We decided to combine them because, as I found out, thanks to Kev from Bridgeport, thank you, buddy, he said, "No, Jennifer, you're not going crazy. They combined 2 chapters in the unabridged audio book." But I don't think we gave it the attention that it deserves. I mean, because come on.
Well, we didn't really. I think we kind of skipped it. We talked about the heart, eating the heart, but we missed all the other juicy details. So let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Am I first then? I'm on first.
You're first.
She just told me, all right, you take this, you do the overview.
Look, y'all, she had 20 minutes notice. Ago. She had 20 minutes notice.
I was like, oh. So anyways, hi, guys. And thank you, Jen. It's Lady Wolverton's Den. That's her name, y'all.
I'm never gonna live that down. Thank you, Tony.
No, I'll wear it like a badge of honor. I think I want a T-shirt. We were just actually before this, we were talking about going to con. So, let us know also if any of you are thinking about.
Yeah, if you're going to con, I will make time for you. We will make time to hang out with you and have a drink with you and talk to you. And
I want to meet you.
Yeah, we like Tywin Lannister. We will make time for you.
Who else? Who else do I? No, this is it. This is
I know Nancy and Mike are going. I know Nancy and Mike are going. It's in Nashville, y'all. It's in Nashville. I'm not really 100% sure about the rooms yet. I will tell y'all this, though. It's quite pricey because the hotels in Nashville look like they're going to be much more expensive than the ones that were in Dallas. But that's not with the convention discount yet. So let's not put that in stone.
Right. Well, and so I would like to go. So I'm going to start saving up my pennies because I don't have.
Russell said if we had to bring a tent, we were going. So,
but it'll be fun.
Oh, and shit! Brandwick lives 20 to 30 minutes away from Nashville. Brand, even if you can't go but one day, go on Saturday. And that's what Tony Teflon will tell you too, because Saturday is the parade of costumes and the dance. And once you pay to get in a con, You're
you know
there
what?
from 10 to 10 till for the after activities, everything. So if you can't do nothing but go the one day, come on Saturday or whenever somebody on a panel.
Yeah.
They put out the panel, so if it's
She
somebody
said
you
put
want to
out.
see particularly, then go that day. I understand it's pricey, but this is what we didn't join the pool this year. We didn't go to the beach this year. Con
No,
was
but
on
it's
vacation. It was worth it too.
I went down to I've been to Memphis, of course I've been to Graceland because I love the king. And so that was cool. So I'd like to check out Nashville. That'd be sweet. So
Now I have been to
anyways,
Nashville when I was young. I went to Opryland, of course, a couple
hold
times.
on one second.
In my 20s, I went to I think
I'm here.
Ozfest in Nashville. It was
The Ozfest?
yeah, it was like Deftones and Primus and Slayer and Ozzy. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, you're a bigger rocker than me.
It was a long time ago. I did have fun though. My friends came through and picked me up. I was actually in Memphis.
Yeah, see, that's where I went, down to Beale Street, and it was a blast. And of course, it went to Graceland and actually saw BB King play live.
Oh, he's great. He's from Clarksdale, Mississippi. I've seen him.
And so he was like, he has his club down there, and he only plays there live every once in a while. But he was rocking out with Lucille, and of course we didn't get in because there was like, you want to talk about your pricey tickets. So, but like my gentleman friend that I was traveling with at the time, he lifted me up, like I think almost put me on his shoulders, like, and I was like checking him out, and it was cool. But like, see, the thing I dig live music, so and I like to get my groove on, and so it was really cool because it's all Beale Street, of course, is the place to be, and it's all bars, and like at night it's all live music, and it was awesome. It was so fun. So whatever you like.
It's nice. Memphis is nice.
But I have never been to Nashville, so
it's nice.
And you know what? That's just a really long.
There's a lot to do in Nashville.
It's a very wide state.
It is. There's just I'm telling you though, the hotels in Nashville seem quite a bit pricey.
Yeah, you know what? Everything is pricey in the U.S. and it's funny because they have their thumb down on top of us, like making no money, but charge us an arm and a leg. But that's neither here nor there.
I want to shout out AU. He's in the chat. Hey, you.
Hey, hello.
So good, AU. I am doing really, really good, and
hooray,
I don't share everything about myself all the time.
Boy, I do.
I want to say this. Sometimes I go through a bit of depression, and especially back when I almost lost my leg, I got addicted to pain pills. So I'm actively in recovery. So I just want to say that.
That's tough, man.
It is tough, and it's not like I'll never be better. It's like all the time working on it. But right now things are so good. My pain is in check without narcotics, and I'm in a great mood, and everything's going good.
And amen. We'll just keep praying that continues, because
I just want to say this. When you scrape your last $65 together to give your oldest friend in the town you live in, I don't want to say best friend. I think that term's been thrown around too loosely lately, but she was definitely I've lived her 10 years, and I knew her. She came to my wedding. We'll be married 7 years, November 5th. She was my oldest.
Holy smokes, lady!
In the town in the town I live in now. And when you scrape your last $65 together to send your oldest friend in the town you live in a funeral arrangement, then you tell me what is the saddest shit you've ever done in your life, because she would have been 41 November 30th, and she left a little 4-year-old and a 12-year-old, and it was just extremely sad, and it was preventable. Nobody called 911 for her, and that's disgusting.
Well, the thing is, actually, we don't know, but everything that could have been done wasn't done.
Right.
because we just
It's like
nobody knows.
everything that exactly. And
I kind of believe that everything that should happen does happen sometimes, but
I would agree with
and
that,
then
but
we get
I hate it.
then we get trapped in like all this fortuity. And okay, so bringing that around back to this overview that I'm supposed to be doing right now, that Jen like
Okay, so
sprung
everybody's
on
life
me, the
is
little.
hard and all things fall into gray areas, which is one of the reasons we love this book so much. So, Moni, without further ado, let's get to Daenerys 5.
All right. So, it starts out and she is the heart is steaming. Okay, that's the first part of the thing. It's like, so that's pretty vivid picture. Like, oh, what heart? What are you talking about? And yeah, the heart was steaming in the cool evening air, and Khal Drogo set before her, raw and bloody. His arms were red. So I'm assuming that he must have sacrificed the stallion.
He did. I believe him and his blood rider butchered it right there and cut the heart out right there.
Wait, but they couldn't have done it right there because there's no metal tools.
I'm pretty sure in the book it talks about how they butcher it. I don't know.
But maybe they did it right outside of Voss, like, because of the big rule, man.
Yeah, that is the big rule.
So, but they anyways, they don't. I'm like already off on a tangent, like I'm supposed to do the overview. So, I have a feeling that I'll do the overview a little bit less formal than Jen because I'm a commentator as I overview it. So, if y'all in the chat want to reel me back, feel free. No judgment zone, okay? And I know Jennifer will, so, and as I do with her, the same. So anyway, so like that's your first image, like this steaming heart, and it's like, oh, okay. And like for those of you who have not seen the show, you're like, what is that? And then reading the books, it's kind of like, okay, this was because these are point of view chapters, so it was like steaming heart. So like, and then they talk about how like they've prepared her like to get ready for this because this is a big deal. And all the what do they call those old women?
Oh, the Dash Colleen.
Yeah.
The crones, the Dash Colleen.
Yeah, the crones.
The former Khaleesi's.
Which in like mere parallel rhyme, whatever, it's kind of like the crone and the seven, right? Like I mean, in their live version of their religious thing. Anyways, so and these are the wise women who were once married to former help me out, bosses, and after their husband dies, then the next most powerful guy takes over. So the wife has to go to this, like, well, it's where the wives go because they're kind of almost like holy women, but they really don't have any power except for these ceremonies, right? So, because they're chicks. This is a total male-dominated little tribal thing kicking. So there she is, and like they talk about how her girls prepared her for this. Now she's totally like pregnant. I guess kind of super pregnant because she's not very comfortable right now, and they talk about that a little bit. So they and this is Vogue. Okay, this kind of grossed me out because I'm thinking, oh man, imagine like, okay, so I have a sensitive stomach. If I get nervous about something, so I'm sure Danny was nervous about this whole ceremony. Who wouldn't be, right? So, hey dog. So she thanks for coming. So she like starved herself. Now she's preggers, right? So she starved herself for a couple days, thinking that would make her want to eat this yummy, delicious heart. They also her girls were feeding her. I wrote this down because it's Vogue. Half clotted bowls of blood, and horse jerky to just get her into it, so she'll be able to do this. Like, so she prepped for this. It doesn't say how long she prepped for that, but the last couple days she didn't eat, thinking that, oh well, if I'm super starving, okay, which isn't probably the best thing to do when you're pregnant, because I know morning sickness, like one of the theories, I've never had a baby, I've just known people who have, like that. It's like the drop in your blood sugar is what gives you the morning sickness. Like, so I've known a couple people that had what's the, not a midwife, but the little there's another name for it. Somebody help me in the chat. That helps you give birth, your coach. That
I
said,
thought that was a midwife.
Well, like, no, but there's another name for it. Your
okay.
I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me. Maybe it won't. So, oh shoot, what was I saying? So they got her ready, and but she didn't eat for 2 days. So like that probably messed her up a little bit. She wasn't feeling that well. So but there she is. She knows all the things. She has to eat this. The ritual is, so Drogo got this heart for her. She's in front of all these crones, which are all the past wives of all the call help me with that word. I can't say it right now. Calls, thank you. And so everybody's watching. Actually not everybody. The best of the people who are important, because there's a bunch of people outside this ritual place that didn't rank as high. We find that out later. So she's like eating this, like, and so if you've seen the TV show, pretty good job of that. She's like got the blood all over. It's like dried and sticky on her hands, all over her face. The one part I wrote, like, that kind of like really stuck out to me was they talked about how the blood, I forget the first part of it, and I wanted to write that part down, but this part is what it really impacted me. The heart exploded against her lips, but like, they're talking about how the blood is just all over her face and her arms, and she's just, but like as she would take a crunch out of it, like she could just feel it exploded. It reminded me of like what, like people who dig sunny side up eggs and just put the whole yolk in their mouth and crush it in their mouth.
Well, I mean, I do like that mixed in grits.
Well, I do like that, like with toast and chopped up in my eggs, but I don't like the big, like I had a girlfriend who ate all the whites around and then put the yolk in her mouth for the big explosion, and I was just like, ew.
Right. I couldn't do that either, but I do like that. I do like a sunny side up egg mixed in grits, y'all.
I can never cook a sunny side egg correctly. I'm always over easy, but anyways, I digress. So then they talk about and Drogo's like walking around her as she's doing this, right? Because this ceremony is super important. Like, whatever happens, if she knows, if she gags on this, if she like throws up a little bit, I think even in the back of her mouth, that could cause a bad omen. If she pukes, bad, like all these things. If she does anything wrong with this, she could have a girl, God forbid, or a deformed baby, or just blah blah blah. So she gets through it, and like as she's getting closer to the end, she can see that Drogo's like, that's my babe. And the oldest crone has like one eye, and she's all like giving her like, you know, but she's the one in charge. So then they start doing this ritual, and the first part was like after she did this, like it was he's riding a strong boy. And I didn't get all the rest about the prophecy. But like, so I wanted to ask you, Jen, what do you think about this prophecy part? I know I'm saying a lot of ums. I'm trying to fix that, you guys. I am.
It's okay.
The prophecy part where then she goes into all the rest of it. So why don't you tell me what you think if you remember, and I'll look for the exact words.
This is what I think about it. I think number one, I wish we had more narrative on why Khal Drogo wanted to marry Daenerys. I mean, yeah, she was beautiful and all that, but I think he must have thought, just like Rhaegar thought that Lyanna was key to his prophecy, that Daenerys was key to whatever prophecy, that the call of Khal prophecy, I think is kind, let's call it that. And also, if you listen to the prophecy that they then come up with, it actually fits what does actually happen. Like, because she ends up hatching Drogon and then the other two dragons. But I mean, he is. You could look at Dragon as the Targaryen stallion in a way. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what the Targaryens.
Hey, yeah.
And
I
so
like that.
I think if you really look at it, the prophecy can actually still, just like when you get your tarot cards read. I mean, you can apply that to so many different things that you can actually make it work or make it believable in your mind. And I think the same with this prophecy is that you can make it work for what actually does happen.
Well, what really hit me was the part where they were saying, you know, about like I can see his face, where like, you know, where she was going off about that. Like, so the first part was that a boy, you know, it's a boy, and it's like, and it's gonna be a strong boy. It's like, all right, rock on, you know. Of course, Drogo's like, yeah, I'm only like the most badass car there's been, so you know, but his babe ate the whole heart, right? And she's all, and imagine like, I don't know.
Okay, Granwick got it for us. Here it is. I have seen his face and heard the thunder of the hooves. As swift as the wind he rides, and behind him his Khalasar covers the earth. I mean, so actually, I think you could look at her child as being Drogon, and that still completely applies to him. That's what I'm saying about the prophecy.
Okay, and I, you know what? Why that didn't occur to me, like I said, I listened to this probably at least 4 up to 5 times, like just today, but I didn't know I was doing this overview, or I would have taken better notes.
Amanda Duncan says, I think Dany will be the Call of Calls. I mean, I think she already is, as far as the Dothraki people go, Amanda. Right. I think, you know, as far as the Dothraki people go, at this very moment, she is the Call of Calls. I mean, they followed her over the poison water across the sea. Oh, I have Just on the Throne's pin on to support all the YouTubers. We have so many North Carolina YouTubers. Just hoping they didn't have too much damage. And
yeah, I've been praying about you guys, man. It's
yeah, just shout all the North Carolina YouTubers. Hope y'all are good.
North, South, like, man.
Yeah, Virginia.
Those every other year 500 storms are really starting to kick our ass.
Yeah, they really are. And if anybody can understand, we certainly understand that shit here in New Orleans.
Yeah. Well, you're still recovering.
I mean, actually, and I'm going to tell y'all, the way it is right now here, just so hot and humid, I really, really see us getting hit in some part of the state by a hurricane this year. I really do. Mark me.
So, well, no, I mean, like, and yeah, definitely. I hate that crap. And then those rivers collided. Like, it makes my heart sad. But you know what? Okay. And my dad was like, we were discussing this evening. And I just said, finally, I heard on the news, like, they actually said, don't go out in that water. It's contaminated.
Right.
Like, when I know, but, and he's like, well, duh, Monica, it's just common sense. And it's just like, well, no, it's not common sense, because every time you see this, you see people out there in their shorts and kids out playing in their bare feet and crap. And it's just like, because they, I get it, it's hot. They don't have any air conditioning.
That's how I got flesh-eating bacteria in my ankle after
sewage
Katrina.
Water. Like, I mean,
right.
Even when
it's contaminated, like, it's got disease.
Yeah,
it's stagnant.
You can get well, not just that, it's washing up from the drains, honey. It's not just stagnant. It's sewage water. Like,
right.
So
it's and yeah, I mean, you don't need to be in it.
You guys, I mean, that's why you bury your dead above the ground. Come on. But so hepatitis C shots, if you've been exposed to this, if you have to clean anything out, just it's just safety first.
Right. Don't go out in it. Wait till you got to wait till your house is dry, kind of, and go in there and squidgy the floors and pull up your carpet. But still, then you got to work on your drywall.
But even that, you have to, like, go get your hepatitis shot. Like,
you do. Let's go to the chat real quick.
Anyways, all right. So, anyways, love to you guys, and hopefully this is distracting. Okay.
Okay. So, Brandwick, though. Wait, hold on, Moni. Brandwick is coming with the rest of the prophecy. Men without number with Iraqs shining in their hands like blades of razor grass. Fierce as a storm, this prince will be. His enemies will tremble before him, and their wives will weep tears of blood. The bells in his hair will sing his coming, and the milkmen in the tents will fear his name. The prince is riding, and he will be the stallion that mounts the world.
Mm-hmm. So, see, but, like, okay. All right. So if we're going to relate that to the dragons, see, I don't know, for some reason, sure, I think the first couple times I read this, I did think dragons automatically. She's the mother of dragons. This time around, they were so specific about seeing the face. Like, she says, I've seen his face. Now, she didn't say it was Khal Drogo's, right?
Right.
So does that mean she might just have a baby? It just occurred to me,
like, I definitely think we're going to get a show baby. I definitely think we're going to get a show baby.
But I mean, but even through the books, I think that this was, for the first time, it occurred to, like, I mean, it really kind of hit me in the face with all of what they said. I mean, sure. I don't know. It seemed to me that, wow, maybe Dany is going to have a baby. And, I love that little baby that they show. That's her and Drogo's baby. That's adorable.
Yeah, that was a beautiful little baby.
So anyways, this time around, that's what I thought. I mean, and thanks for reminding me about the dragon take. Like, of course, that's what I thought before, but I'd forgotten, like, it's been a while. So, and that's what's cool about doing these. We're redoing it.
That's what so anyway,
so then, so then, of course, then Drogo, like, sweeps her off to do the next part of the ceremony, right? To wash all the blood off of her, and in the holy lake that has no bottom, but she can feel the muck in her toes. Is that significant? Maybe. Like, this is supposed to be some holy lake that because this is a blood ritual. They pointed that out in this too. And so she's washing the blood, and she's supposed to be in a pure, bottomless lake. But when she went in there, she felt, I live in a lakes area. Like, I'm not a pool girl or ocean girl necessarily. So I don't know if you've ever been swimming in a lake.
I've swam in Lake Pontchartrain. I mean,
some lakes are sandy, and some lakes aren't. So if you put your foot down in the muck, it's like, bleh.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you, and also then you can bring out a bunch of like freaking, what are those bloodsuckers on you? Leeches.
Leeches.
So yeah, and they come off with salt. But anyways, so then like of course, after they ride back, now again, this reminds me of the North kind of like, because everybody's always like watching. Well, no, the North doesn't do the wedding night take off the clothes. Well, some of them do, right? Because
I
the
think some
Boltons
of them
talked about
do.
it.
I just
Yeah.
Ned wasn't having it.
Yeah.
But Amanda brought up a good point. She says later in the books, and she's sorry to jump ahead, but later in the books, Dany sees her son in her dreams as a man.
Oh, I don't remember. Is that in the one that's not released?
No.
No, for real. I didn't read. I haven't read any Experts of Winds yet.
No, so. Because there's no Dany chapter excerpts that have been released. But
well, I wouldn't know because I haven't read any of them.
Right, they're pretty good. Some of them.
I know, but I'm
just waiting.
I'm not a peeker. So.
All right. Does anybody else?
Anyways, the next part was so then when she went back, I thought that was kind of like a cool little parallel about like how all the people who weren't cool enough to be in the ceremony room, they were all like, it was almost like Misa, 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 but it wasn't. It was, like mother, he's a boy and oh no, stallion that mounts the world. Woo! I mean, actually, which is a better slogan? King of the North or stallion that mounts the world? I kind of like that one better.
I kind of like it too.
So anyway, so then of course
Amanda says no, this is going to be later on in the Daenerys chapters when she dreams of her son as a man.
Oh, I can't. All right, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for reminding me, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you.
So then they're going back, everybody's worshiping her, she's done everything right. Woo! All right, Dany. And actually reading this like kind of like, because I don't know, like even reading the books the first few times around, Dany bugged me, and she bugged me in the show too, but like I'm enjoying her chapters this reread, so more so. So anyways, so I don't know, bring me the Dany hate, blah, 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 blah. So then she gets back and she's looking around because they're doing the feast and looking for her big brother, who is nowhere to be found because he sticks out like a sword. Like it was kind of funny how she said, he's so easy to find. He's wearing beggar's clothes. He's got the white silver hair. He's super pale. So it doesn't matter where he was. Like she could always spot him, besides the fact that he was being a big
dick.
Yes. So she can't find him and she's like kind of concerned about it. So then she brings over her little man's own bear, little Mormont, right? And he's just, and so she's like, hey, where's my brother? And he's playing it casual, like, no big whoop, like, he went to go get some wine, right, for the party. She's like, oh, all right. Yeah, he's been doing that. He's been quite the drunk lately, hanging out with a bunch of, like, not so good people in the next city over. And he doesn't like the booze that they drink, which, I don't know. Has anybody tried
horse milk?
Yeah, has anybody tried any of that fermented goat's milk like the mountain men drink or the fermented horse milk? Please drop a line or tell us in the chat or drop me a line in the comments because I'd like to know just how disgusting that is. It sounds bogue, but maybe it gets you super wasted and it's the best buzz ever. And who am I to judge? So then, of course, he comes in, and by the looks of him, it's obvious he's wasted. So Dany knows, oh shit. And he starts like talking crap about, I'm the dragon. I want what's coming to me. And that's like one of my favorite lines. Like, whenever a bad guy says that to somebody, like, oh, you're going to get your just desserts, or you're going to get, oh, you'll get everything that's coming to you, like when they're talking about negotiating a price. I love that. It's just like, no, talk about an actual figure, you idiot. Like, it's just like, you get what you deserve means you're gonna die. So hello, Al, thanks for coming. I think that's you, maybe. Yay. Yeah, it is. So
Yeah, it
anyways,
is.
So that was kind of cool. And then he was just a huge penis, like, and he wants what's coming to him. He's been just a whiny bitch about the whole thing. And even what's his face, who was housing him, come on, help me out with the name, Jen.
Oh, Illyrio Mopatis.
Yes. Thank you, dear. Thank you, my trivia queen. So he told him, like, dude, don't push him. You'll get what's coming to you when you deserve it. Bad. That's a bad thing to hear, right? So then so he has this little bitch fit, and then he like pulls out his sword, like, now he just needs his magic helmet. And everybody who I've been talking about that a lot in Al's chat, because I love Bugs Bunny. So sword and magic helmet. So he's pulled out his sword and he's demanding a crown. And like, and he can tell that he's being an asshole, because then he threatens Drogo's wife, who just did all this awesome crap, eating a whole stallion horse heart.
I mean, he ruined their banquet. Puking. He ruined, probably, like, I mean, I don't know. That's a big deal in the Dothraki culture, and he come in and ruined it.
Well, and he was just, besides that, he's just a cock, dude. Like, he's always treated his sister like, and that's why sometimes I wonder if, I know there's different theories, but like, was Dany really his sister? Whatever. That's something else altogether. But anyways, so he comes in, he's like, but they can't do anything, but I can. And she's like, please, 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 I love you. Just put it away. Like, it doesn't matter what he does. She still loves him because he helped bring her up. So, but of course he doesn't. He's like, I want what's coming to me. And finally, like, somebody translated it. The girl who has to translate it is crying because she does not want to tell him this, because she knows it's going to be bad. So Drogo listens to it and he's like, so, okay. So like when they said, when he's walking around, I love that part. He has rings in his mustache, which is cool as hell. And then bells in his braid. And he had a whole belt of heavy gold medallions, and a bare chest with huge pectoral muscles. They didn't put that part in, but we know that from seeing the show. So then he like had already tossed super fast Dothraki to his buds. They switch the pot over, and it's like getting hot enough. He tosses his belt in there, and he's like, okay, yeah, you're gonna get what's coming. You're gonna get your crown, dude. So then he was, oh, finally, but like, he totally didn't pick up on any of the social cues. Like, he's so pissed at you right now for being an asshole. One, drawing a blade, one that was totally against all their rules, but two, that so he like throws down, and then all of a sudden you see, okay, this actually death reminded me very much of Littlefinger's pussy ass death in the show. Like, I didn't think that's how Littlefinger was going to go out. I totally see.
Right, I didn't either.
This is how her brother went out. You know what I mean? So, when he finally it finally clicks, because at first he's like, it's about time. Look at me. I'm Donald Trump. I'm an awesome negotiator. You missed it. You missed the boat. So yeah, so his buddies grab him.
It's tremendous. It was tremendous.
Yeah, it was tremendous. It was a really big deal. He made a tremendous bargain. He was excited about it because it was going to be a big crown, bigger than any crown that anybody had ever seen. So he got it, man. And I wanted to look this up, and I didn't have time, but I can't imagine what having molten iron and gold poured on your head would do, and how long you would stay alive. It would, wow. I wanted to see with the smell, anyways, how horrific, right? So it's just
right.
And she was, and Dany at that point, well, because what really sent Drogo, I think I skipped that part. I started to, but sorry. I missed it. But he had his knife out against the rules and threatened her from her throat all the way down to her belly where her baby was, where she just ate this humongous, disgusting stallion horse heart. She's being worshipped by everybody around her, and he totally is he talk about not picking up on social cues. Wow. So, and I mean, people are even telling him, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. His sister, Mormont, they're all but he's so, and and she's like, whoa, I know you stole my dragon eggs, but it's cool, you can have them. Wow. Do you think what is that where they get captive by a kidnapper or whatever, and they
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. It's almost like that with him. Whatever he does, she's still got his back. Up to then a certain point, and then she snaps. And when they dump that gold on his head, they hold him. They're like, here you go. Here's your crown. I crown you king stupid ass of the West. And then he's all of a sudden, he's like, sweet sister. Didn't even prick her nipple with the sword, through her dress, even there in the temple or whatever it is. I don't know, the Dothrak, holy house or whatever, that she totally lights on fire later. Spoiler. But it's awesome. That's one of my favorite scenes. Anyway, so then basically Dany, cold, super cold, was just he wasn't a dragon. And that was it. Boom.
Yeah.
So anything you want to add to that, extremely long, crazy?
No, it was good. Just all I'm going to add is Dany, sometimes you're friends with somebody and you love them and you give them chance after chance after chance. And I know I'm this way as a Taurus. Once you just push me too far, I'm not mad at you. I don't hate you, but I'm through. And that's the point Dany was at, because I mean, she does even later name one of the dragons after him. So she had love for him, but she was just through with his shit. She was just through with his shit. And when you through, you through.
Well, and it was also I mean, she was begging him. This was and even though so he had no respect for this culture, then leave. You know what I mean? Quit. Wait, I can't hear you. I lost you.
You lost me?
Oh yeah, no, it's just my crappy headphones now. But now,
and Bran Wick points out, what also had set Viserys off was when he didn't have a place of honor at the feast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, Bran. That was an awesome play, and that was
and they were like, yeah, you go sit with the old men and the slaves or something like that.
Which reminded me of, first he came in bitching that, hey, what do you mean you started this feast without me? It's your sister's party, and you missed her just eating a whole horse heart. By the way, which I have a feeling, I can't hear you again. I have to switch head or take it out. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Like, tell me if it's too noisy. But yeah. So that's like when he came in and they were like, well, and he was just like, wait, it's my feast. I'm the king. What are you doing? And it was like, whoa, your sister just ate a whole stallion heart, but he was still just a cock. It was all about him. And then when they were told, it reminded me of when they made him walk. Now, was that in the book? Because I don't remember talking about that. Where they made him walk way back there. I know when she
was because they had started picking on him, calling him the Sorefoot King.
Well, because he was a pussy, man.
Yeah, he had several nicknames.
So anyways,
the Beggar King, the Sorefoot King.
Yeah, like the super dick. So anyways, thank you, Branwick, because yeah, that was an important part that he did come in and popping off. He was not a very kind brother, like, and it wasn't even like he needed to be like jealous of her. Like, she totally went along with the whole.
She felt like everything that was hers was his.
Yeah, and that she was fine with him, like, being the boss over there. Like, sorry, I gotta put my hair up because I'm dying. Yeah, she was cool with all that. Hold on. Like, you know, with the wait, I know I'm not hearing you again. What's going on?
I'm not talking.
Oh, haha. That's fine. But yeah, like, so she even said, like, he's the rightful king, and who was it? Was it Sir Barristan or was it Mormont who like kind of gave a look like, I don't know that he's too much of a king. Was it Mormont?
It was Mormont. Barristan's not around yet.
No, I thought he was. No, that's from your chapter. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Okay, so your turn. I mean, unless there's anything else you want to say.
Nope. I think we covered it all. So,
all right.
Brief interlude for 1 sec, you guys.
Anything else anybody has to tell me in the chat that I missed? Because I yammered and yammered. Yeah, because he's a big pussy. Don't you think? If I did Twitter, I'd say Twitter poll. Was Viserys a puss? A puss? Jorah, yeah, that he was a snake, and he totally busted him, like, because he was just gonna steal him, and she was like, well, why didn't he just ask me for him? And then it was so cute because that's how naive she was about how rare and expensive those dragon stones or dragon eggs were. She thought they were just stones, but she was like, wow. Oh, good night, Al Red Sox fan. Thank you for stopping by. But he was just like, yeah, well, so is a ruby and a diamond.
All right. Like, now we'll just move right on to Eddard 14.
Yes.
And I just want to say real quick, anybody who has not checked it out, check out this show called American Vandal on Netflix. It is so funny. It's
American Vandal.
American Vandal. It's like 7. It's a limited series. It was like 7 episodes. I binged it. Good night, Al. Thanks for stopping by. But y'all check out that American Vandal. It was hilarious.
Hey, Doc, did you see all my new Star Wars stuff? Just for you, buddy. Well, not, just for you, but my princess.
Okay, so Eddard 49.
All right.
This is after King Robert has already been injured in the boar hunt. And this is after the chapter where we see Ned go and sign all the documents that is supposed to put him in charge of Joffrey till he becomes a little bit older, because Robert doesn't think that he's prepared him at all. And in fact, this is one of the things that he said on his deathbed. Amanda asked me, where did I get all the banners? Except for the Lannister banner, which actually came from Spencer's, which are Hot Topics, which is about $18. Because it's front and back. All of these banners were like $6 or $7 from that site on the internet, Wish. And I even have more now. Russell ordered me. Look, now I got Greyjoy, Martell, and Tyrell in. And I have the Baratheon one. It's not hung up yet. But they're like $6 or $7 on there. And he also got me at Russell. I tell y'all, I've created a monster ever since I brought him to con. Check this out. So he orders me this music box, and he said it looked much bigger on the site.
I can't hear you.
Huh.
I can't hear you, Jennifer.
Okay.
Can everybody else hear her? Is it just me? Oh, what's that?
It's a little music box.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, it's a little music box. He said it looked much bigger on the site. It was like $6 or $7. And it's
I love music boxes.
It's cute. I mean, you know, like that Wish, but Wish does have a bunch of Game of Thrones items. And like I said, you know, $20 a pop for the banners is a bit pricey, but $6 or $7 is quite affordable. And look, they look fine hanging up. You know, they're just not double-sided like the more expensive, the Lannister one. Okay, put my headphones back in. I do have almost all of them that he can get a hold of. That's the thing. Some of the lesser houses he can't get a hold of on Wish, but they have all the major ones. Okay, so Eddard 49. The Starks are all eating breakfast, and this is Arya, Sansa, Eddard, and Septa Mordane. They're in the Solar, which as far as I know, it's kind of like a morning room. You know, sun comes in. And Arya's in a great mood. She's eating everything put in front of her. And she asked her father if she may have another dancing lesson this morning. And as far as I know, Syrio Farrell is also going to be retained as part of their household and go with them to the north. And he's like, yeah, but I want you dressed and changed in fresh clothing by midday. And she's like, I'm all packed. And, you know, this says a lot. Because we know when Arya was first leaving to go to the capital, she had to repack. She was not that excited. She was begrudgingly going. Well, she's excited to go back to the north. Sansa, on the other hand, couldn't feel more different. She's not eating at all. She's pissed off that she can't say goodbye to Joffrey. She's despairing. And Septa Mordane volunteers to take her, but her father says it's unwise. Then Septa Mordane chastises Sansa for arguing with her father, and Sansa gets up and leaves, knocking down her chair. And Ned tells Septa, let her go. I shall have to explain things to her when we're safe back at Winterfell. About an hour later, Grand Maester Pycelle comes to Ned. My lord, King Robert is gone. And Ned thinks to himself, well, I was just waiting on this. And he says, I would give up all my titles right now to just cry and just let out how I really feel. And then he says, summon the small council to my chambers. Mm-hmm. And then Maester Pycelle says, well, shouldn't we do any official business, you know, in the small council chamber? And he's like, and Ned doesn't feel like that's a secure site. So he says no. And also Grand Maester Pycelle. And on the reread, I was thinking maybe it would have been smart to listen to him. He said, can't we give this a day, you know, to mourn properly? But Ned's like, no, we need to do this immediately. And Sir Barristan comes first, then Littlefinger. And Littlefinger, as a side note, says to Ned, the task you sent me to accomplish is complete. And he means getting the City Watch on his side. Varys enters smelling fresh and of lavender. And then he says, "Shall we begin?" And then Eddard tells Lord Varys, "We will when Lord Renly arrives." And Varys tells him he has fled the city early this morning, going towards either Highgarden or Storm's End with 50 retainers and Loras Tyrell. Ned doesn't like that. He doesn't like the smell of it. And he pulls out the letter, the decree that was witnessed by, I think he says, Maester Pycelle and
Renly.
I don't think it was Renly. I think he said it was
I thought that's who the two were. Because that was like, I thought that was even going to be part of the problem, that Renly took off and he kind of needed him.
He needed his 100 swords, and he says to himself, "There goes 100 swords." But I had really thought that it was Pycelle and maybe Barristan who had witnessed it. And he hands it to Barristan, and he authenticates it and says, "Yeah, the seal's not broken." And it says, "Lord Eddard Stark is left of the regent till the heir comes of age." And Eddard thinks to himself, well, shit, technically Joffrey is of age. I hope they just kind of skip over that part. And he does not say anything about it. And he thinks to himself, I must play the game till the girls are safely off. And he says he wants the council to confirm him. The king's steward then comes and knocks on the door and asks for his small council to come to the throne room. They've been summoned by the king. And 8 escorts, that's Ned Stark's men, and take them down to the throne room, and gold cloaks are visible everywhere. Genos Slint meets them at the door and opens it. Joffrey is on the Iron Throne, and it reminds Ned of the time he removed Jaime from the Iron Throne. The way all the Lannister guards are behind the throne, and everything. And everyone is armed, by the way, which kind of was Red Wedding-esque. You don't walk into a friendly swearing of oaths or a friendly thing and everybody be in full mail with, all their swords and spears and stuff at the ready. And that's basically what he walks into. And Joffrey commands the council to arrange his coronation within a fortnight, which is a 2-week continuous period. And he will take oaths of fealty. Moni?
Yeah, well, Amanda did say it was Renly and Pycelle
who
witnessed the sealing.
Okay.
And that's why, not only was the 100 swords, because I definitely agree that was one of them, but I thought that was pretty significant. Oops, sorry.
To have both witnesses. Yeah, it's almost like, he was a witness and then he wasn't there to put his stamp on it. So
to say, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So Ned asks Varys to give my Lady of Lannister. And notice here, he doesn't call her the Queen or the Queen Dowager. He calls her my Lady of Lannister, suggesting, yeah. So he said, give my Lady of Lannister the declaration. And Sir Barristan, or Varys hands it to her, I believe, and she rips it up in not just in half, but in quarters and then more. And Barristan Selmy is shocked and says, those were the king's words. Cersei says, we have a new king now. Lord Eddard, last we spoke, you gave me some counsel. Allow me to return the favor. Bend the knee and we'll let you resign and go home. Eddard says, Joffrey is not yet the heir. Is not the heir. Seize him, Sir Barristan, says Cersei Lannister. The 8 Stark guards surround Lord Eddard. Kill him, Joffrey yells. Eddard calls to Genos Slint. Commander, seize them. Then the gold cloaks turn on Ned and his companions.
Yeah, that's so
For
shitty.
A moment, Ned thinks he may cut free because Barristan Selmy doesn't strike against them because he knows what's going on is wrong. And then for a moment, Ned thinks he might cut free, and then here's Sandor on him. Then Littlefinger grabs Ned's own dagger out of the sheath, holds it under his chin. I did warn you not to trust me, you know. And that's how it went down, y'all.
I know, what a dick. It's just like, oh, really? And this is what, it's almost like I wish he would have said, oh, is this what you meant to tell? Is this what you were telling my wife? And like then need him in the, because he wasn't like Littlefinger doesn't have a bunch of armor or anything on. Yeah, so he had a knife. Like, shouldn't that have some moves? Anyways, knife at your throat is a knife at your throat. But yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Stacey 27, thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thank you. Definitely a disadvantage. Just all the Northerners. They just don't have a clue about how horrible and shisty and shady court life is.
Well,
Which,
even though, but like you said last was it the last Eddard chapter that no, he was getting it, man. He did know. He was.
no, that's true. He really did kind of know. He knew they were in danger and whatnot. But the thing is, I think Ned made a major mistake with, like he said, he would tell Sansa when they were back in the north. And like Arya tried to tell him, look, I heard people talking about they wanted you dead and that the wolf and the lion would be at each other's throat. He should have listened more to his girl. He should have explained better to Sansa, and he should have paid more attention to Arya. But he was just completely overwhelmed and out of his element. He knew he was in a dangerous place, but really by keeping things from them, he only made it more dangerous.
By keeping things from the girls?
Yeah. Especially Sansa, because we know that she ends up telling on them.
Well, see, she had this crazy, imagine, dude, like, okay, no, it's not, we know what happens behind, like, the royalty now, but back then, okay, flea bottom, who wants to live there? So, like, he was already, going, a daughter of a house, and he was what do you call it?
I mean, I get that she wanted to be queen and she didn't. Where I really think the disconnect is that, that was the best, that was the pinnacle for her. Being matched to the crown prince would be any parent's dream, any little girl's dream. I mean, we've seen in the companion books how people will even set their own daughters up to be just that side chick, just a mistress for great power.
Did you watch you're cut, I can't hear you again. Shake your headphones.
I'm not talking.
No, I see you. Oh, no, never mind.
I think the video is a little bit delayed. It is on my phone.
It's me. I'm an idiot. So, yeah, they that's totally true. How but
so
see,
I think
that's
she
like
couldn't understand.
And it wasn't like he said, well, I'll marry you off to a king in another country.
Yeah, well, like if he would have just told her, look, the truth is he's not the king. He was born of incest and we suspect that he also crippled your little that his dad crippled your little brother. I think she would have had a different opinion about him. I mean, she was already wavering, but she was putting everything on herself and Arya.
Well,
like if only the wolves wouldn't attacked him, he would still be interested.
Right, but it was still the top of the top. She was able to look over all that other stuff just to be queen. But I mean, like, think about it. It's not like women didn't have rights. Women didn't, like, okay, look at what Queen of Thorns, starts with the M, her granddaughter, what she was willing to do. Went through all three guys to be cool. I don't want to be a queen. I want to be the queen. So, like, that was her goal. And it didn't matter even if she was going to marry a monster. That could have killed her. She was quite aware of it. But, and then her mom her grandmama took care of it. So, it's just, everybody blames Sansa, but I don't hear anybody ever saying, but Marjorie was so stupid. Marjorie just knew how to play those Southern games. Like, I mean, Sansa was smart and
good point, Branwick. Bran points out, shit, he took an 8-year-old to watch a beheading, but he couldn't tell her the truth that her intended was actually not even the king's son. I mean, and then I get maybe that's why that we get that little bit in the show about, well, father shielded us to make up for that. Maybe that's why we get that.
Absolutely. And the other part too is just like, especially that morning, especially when she was like, you know, it's not fair. Like after then he just said, okay, so I have to just let her go. Arya went to go do her dancing lesson, which like from Sansa's perspective, as an older sibling, I would have been losing my mind, man. I would have been like, this is crap.
Right.
I don't think I would have like disobeyed my dad and but I can empathize. I can empathize, and but if he maybe would have at that point said, okay, you didn't want to play with the dolls that I got you. You really think you know what's going on down here. Can I tell you a couple things that might change, like you said, change your mind about what's really happening and why I want to get you out of here? I'm almost positive they pushed I am not almost positive. The queen told me that she pushed your brother out of the tower because she was sleeping with her brother, and all of her kids, including your betrothed, is born of incest. So he's not going to be the rightful king. And when his uncle finds out, if you are married to him, you will be dead, and your kids will be dead too. Like, I mean, break it down to, okay, that's your dream. I'm popping the bubbles, but it's his little girl too. That's tough. I don't mind popping some people's bubbles, but I don't have kids.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to say. I just hate that always the blame gets put on Sansa because you know, she was raised to do exactly what she did, and then when it is fulfilled, she doesn't understand. You know, she really does. She's still stuck on the fact that, you know, she wasn't as bad as Marjorie, but she did want to be queen.
Right, but also she wasn't taught like Marjorie was either. I mean, like,
yeah, Marjorie was kind of, I mean, definitely more in the show than in the books. They make Marjorie out a little bit innocent in the books, but definitely Marjorie was taught more how to manipulate and play the game.
And then, and then it was like, well, and when she was just so happy when she left that, like, she was supposed to be so devastated when they broke off the engagement, and she was just like, oh. And then she's walking away going, yes. So that was awesome.
It was, and it was very poignant too. I believe it was after her father died, and she had been uninterested in that doll, but that was well done in the show when they show her looking at that doll and kind of hugging onto it, and you know, it's turned into something maybe she wouldn't have played with, but it was certainly the last thing her father ever gave to her. And I think they convey that well in the show to show that she was certainly, you know, didn't know where all this would lead.
Right. Or if they even would have said, even if I think they would have shown Sansa the whipping boy, that would have, like, if his dad, if the king party a lot, if he said, you know what, okay, first he mocked him in front of whoever was there and said, you let this little girl kick your butt, and then she threw your sword into the river, besides all the BS lies, and basically he knew his kid was lying, but it's just like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna let your whooping boy get it just because you got your butt kicked by a girl. Like, if Sansa could have seen that side, it was bad enough that her desperation to be with Joffrey let her overlook what Cersei did to her direwolf, because that was incredible. But she still was kind of, she's trying to make everything okay down there, because that was what she thought her life was going to be. So it was easier to blame her sister because they had sister rivalry crap. But yeah, I don't know how you, I mean, Arya hated Cersei like crazy, but I don't know how you wouldn't, I don't think I ever would have got over that. It's just like, lady was good, you killed her.
Right.
That's not cool. Just because she was another direwolf. So yeah, but there are a couple of really good chapters in here, and it was kind of it was a kind of a little bit of a heartbreaker to see that Ned thought people would have his back. And I mean, Renly kind of told him, but he didn't tell him he was gonna like skedaddle.
Right.
You know, but then again, Renly wanted to be king, and Ned was just like, Mr. Stricty by the rules. He should have said, hey, you know what? That's between you and your brother.
Right, right.
We just have to get these guys
I mean, it's just a classic case of one thing going wrong and then everything, you know, when it rains, it pours. And absolutely. I know every one of us in the chat can certainly understand that. You know what I mean? When it rains, it pours, isn't it? And don't they say deaths come in threes?
They do. They do.
I tell you, because after Laura, my next door neighbor passed away very unexpectedly. And then well, it was somebody famous after that, but deaths come in threes, they say. I agree with everything Stacy and Amanda are saying, but I also agree with you, Bran. I mean, they were a loving family, and they had always listened to their father and admired him. And I think just things could have been handled differently. At the very least, I mean, I was even thinking about this today, and you guys might be like, oh, well, that's crazy. Even if he would have left Sansa and everybody else skedaddled, and, you know, that wouldn't have been the right thing. But what could have happened was Sansa could have married Joffrey, and then essentially she would have kind of been a hostage, but that would have kept the North from attacking. Ned would have never brought his army against his own daughter, I don't believe. And, you know, there was just a lot of different avenues that things could have go down. And, you know, like we hear Cersei say, everybody's your ally till they're not. So, you know, there was just so many different ways to handle it. So many things played a part in it. Renly's deceptive sneakiness when he wasn't going to get what he wanted. He just bailed on Eddard. So many different things were just handled.
And it would have been cool if you would have told him.
Right. That way he could have maybe decided to make things, plan things different. He maybe even would have sent the girls off without him.
And got his girls out of there. And
exactly.
Whatever came of what was going to happen to him was going to just happen to him. Like I said, I would have had those girls on a boat.
That's what I would have wanted to do, yes.
But, yeah, definitely. And you know, and Cersei was right, too. You know, do you love your children any less than I love mine? She's looking out for her own. Like, where's
also Ed underestimated Cersei big time, because I'm telling you, it's hard to be the queen and then go to being my Lady of Lannister, and really essentially.
See, I don't think that he was angry that she didn't follow his advice. I don't think. Well, maybe he was surprised, but I think he was more shocked that Littlefinger betrayed him.
He was more shocked at the Littlefinger betrayal, but I think he underestimated Cersei. He really expected her to cut tail and run. And as we all know, That's just not her way.
No, but I don't think Ned realized just how much that wasn't going to happen.
Right.
So,
let's talk about this for a minute.
Yeah.
At this point, Tywin really doesn't believe these rumors. Do you think that even if he had known the truth, he would have let Cersei? I don't think so. I think he would have put it under wraps and would have still thrown this little coup d'etat.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
yeah, he wouldn't have let her walk away from everything they'd been working towards for years.
No, I think that I think that he totally would have said, "Are you crazy?" No. That's why. And it and this was right after Robert died. All of a sudden the sigil is, what was it, 15? I thought that must have been significant. 12 or 15 stags
and 50 lions. I think it was.
Yeah. Boom. What she must have had. Well, no, she had people working all night long, but it seems like, I guess maybe as soon as he came home mortally wounded. But how would you keep that a secret? When you have all these people working on these robes that are duly, Baratheon and Lannister.
I tell you who in the War of the Roses Tywin Lannister reminds me of. He reminds me of Warwick, the Kingmaker. He got both of his daughters married to the heirs of Eddard the Fourth, and then one of his daughters, Anne, did end up being queen. Married her to Prince Edward, Margaret of Anjou's son first. That didn't work out. She married Richard III. I don't think he killed the princes in the tower. I do think that was Margaret Beaufort and her husband. There's historical proof to that. Okay, also, Richard III had no heirs. He really had nothing to gain. That Parliament had already voted him as the king. He was already regent. Edward the Fifth was only 12 years old, so he would have had a good 8 years of power or more. So I would compare Tywin Lannister to Warwick, and he had worked his whole life to get as close to that crown as possible, and he would have never let it go in that moment. No way. Yeah. That's right, Branwick. Red cape lined in gold with 50 lions on one side and 50 stags on the other. It was an equal amount. That's right.
Yeah, but still, just that what was it? 1 day or 2 days after the king's death? 1 day? Because it was next day they were saying.
Obviously he started having that worked on before he died.
That's what I'm saying. As soon as he came home mortally wounded, Cersei had somebody working on this. Did she kill all those people?
Well, and that's something that was also always noted, is that Joffrey always tended to wear the Lannister colors more than the Baratheon colors.
Yeah, but he still worshipped his daddy.
Yeah. Branwick, you are killing it tonight. Thank you so much.
I know. Thank
Amanda, you. Too. You guys are so alive in the chat. Thank you so much.
I love it.
All right. Well, anybody else got any points or anything they want to bring up or?
Yeah, in the big difference. It seemed pretty true, don't you think, from the show to the books?
I was telling Nancy T earlier. Shout again, Nancy T. Up until the Red Wedding, I think that this is one of the best book to TV adaptations I've ever seen. Up until season 3, at least.
Yeah.
Aside from not being able to have every character, because it's just not feasible in the show, they really, 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 really do the book justice up until season 3. and then they kind of take some, we all know because we're all super fans in this chat and on this panel. Then they take some serious liberties. But I mean, I guess you have to give some creative license. Ernest Hemingway used to say, when you sell something to Hollywood, you might as well ride up, throw it over a fence, and then just leave because it's not going to be the way that you think it ought to be. I will say this: Nell Harper Lee's book, To Kill a Mockingbird,
I love that book.
Is very well done and follows the movie, the old Gregory Peck movie. It is very well done.
Oh, yeah, and just side note, I just watched it tape of it. They're on PBS. They're doing the Great American Read, and you can vote once a day on a top 100. I believe they're all novels. I thought they were just American novels, but no, they're not. And so you can vote once a day. You can go on pbs.org, Great American Read. They have 100 different novels. You can, like, check the ones that you've read, check out the ones you haven't. And you
That's what had it on my mind, Moni, because I watched American Masters last night or the night before last on PBS, and they did To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, like I was saying, when because I watched it with my mom, and the ones that I had seen and not seen, or I mean read and not read. The Catcher in the Rye was. Well, I mean, sorry, I don't want to change subjects before anybody
J.D.
else
Salinger
to say, because I do want to talk about it. It's fun. We're readers, and
yeah, that guy who killed John Lennon had a copy of Catcher in the Rye on him.
Yes, Holden Caulfield, but I wasn't a reader as a kid at all. I was severely ADD and not diagnosed that until I was an adult. Writing was probably all over the walls, but they just didn't talk about it then or whatever.
Right.
So anyways, I got some medicine, and for the first time I was able to read a novel, and it was cool. It was awesome. So, and then I even read the Lord of the Rings, that trilogy, when it was after I saw the movie. Like, so I'm a visual person. It doesn't bother me. Although, what's the one, Hunger Games? I wanted to see those movies maybe before I read the books. Because, sometimes when you read the books, then you see the movies, you get really disappointed.
Right.
But not me. It kind of turns me on. Gets my, like, ooh, I'm so curious. So, but yeah, I thought these were a couple of really good chapters. I thought how Khal Drogo handled it. Like, he was just like, really? Like, he didn't, like, go over and, like, he could have just, like, picked him up by his throat after, like, he pricked her nipple and, like, threatened to cut her baby. Like, the girl was crying. I don't want to tell you this. Are you crazy? Threatened to cut the baby. He's like, I'll give his stallion right here. I'll cut it out of your belly and give it to him unless I get what I want. Right there. I mean, like, well, that's when he said, okay. I mean, it was a little more creative. I probably would have just choked his eyeballs out, but yeah, threw his belt in that cauldron and dumped it on his head. You. Hey, Septa. Good to see you. Yeah. Crazy. And he didn't want to learn about the culture, so it was just almost like, why did you even bother showing up, dude? But that's her brother. Her
right.
brother.
All right.
Which, those things don't usually excite me, but he was a dick. So, anything else? Any other parts? What was your favorite part? Disfavorite part?
Favorite parts. I mean, definitely Daenerys choking down that horse heart. It's disgusting.
Absolutely. And like I said, when I was reading the whole series and Dance with Dragons I love, which she's in quite a bit, but uh yeah, I ended up getting really bored with her, and then I was very bored with her in the TV show. So but rereading this, I was yeah, it's a little more exciting to have her point of view. Like, I guess I don't believe the show really does her justice for um well, her obviously her inner dialogue. So they don't I don't think they get that really across. And then my favorite part, for some reason I just have that where it was so silent and you could hear Khal Drogo's like bells and rings just jingling as he's walking around. Like that seems very powerful and ominous. It was good. It was good to just go over everything. It was kind of fun. So yeah, actually yes, I agree. Stacy 27 when yeah, it was the whole Marine thing that kind of like okay, I and then she related herself as a slave sold into slavery. Dude, you fell in love with he was your babe then. I mean, yeah, I get it that you felt that way, but before that you were just like running around. Nobody was making you scrub pots and pans, sister. Like it was like you have no idea what a slave really is. Like I know you felt hard done by like that. Like that's what my parents always say. Oh, you're so hard done by. Boop, 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 as I'm putting out my bird perch. But sorry guys, I'm like hot cold, hot cold. So, but and these chopsticks aren't working. So but yeah, for some reason that really sticks out in my head. And then I also I think it's a very foreshadowing, fortuitous. I don't know, like when he looks out and he just like curses Cersei in the Eddard chapter, that very first part where he's just like, why are they all out there doing all that warly stuff? It's like, oh, dude, because you're about to be killed. I mean, they didn't kill him, but taken over in a hostile coup, which they kind of thought he was taking over a hostile coup. Like, but I don't know, man. Imagine being all right, not that I ever oh my god, sorry, headphones. Not that I ever felt sorry for Joffrey, but I guess I kind of do at this very moment briefly. Imagine this guy giving you a letter. Now your mom who Lord only knows what Cersei told him the night before, like, I got your new cape with your new citral, la la da 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 da. And this is what's going down because obviously he was prepared for it. So everybody knew what actually was in that letter. The spies knew in the walls, you know what I mean? Right? So, but he had no idea that he wouldn't have any backing. None whatsoever. But Joffrey just the first thing Ned says is like he's not the rightful king. And he didn't like call him a bastard or anything, did he? He just said no, he's not. And he's like, liar! Off with his head. But
All right, I think next week it's actually is it Aria 4?
oh, Jiminy Crickets, I have my book right here, darling. Hold on.
All right.
I can't tell you the foreness of it. No, I have Sansa next.
I think she's after Aria.
Hold on, let me check. Okay, the gray light. Yes, you're right. Arya, then Sansa. Arya begins. Oh, this is gonna be the one. Ooh, in the show where she goes for her dancing lessons.
Right.
Her stepped on. What do we say today, child? What do we say to death today?
Not today.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah, favorite line? Got a favorite line of either one of these two chapters? No? Maybe.
Littlefinger, when he pulls the knife on Ned and says, I did warn you not to trust me, you know. And he almost looks at him apologetically.
Yeah. At that point, I think he should be a eunuch. No, sorry, that was the last one. I cannot give you back your homes or your crops. Yeah, I just liked where the old what do they call her? They don't just call her the one-eye hag. They call her something else. But when she was going on and on about not just the boy part, but the part that Branwick helped me. Thank you.
Night, Nancy.
Oh, good night, Nancy. Mwah! Good to see you. Thank you. And so yeah, I like that part where she was going on and on and on, because for the first time, like, I definitely saw it was the dragons the first time around, but this
Branwick says, favorite line, he was no dragon, Danny thought, curiously calm. Fire cannot kill a dragon. Amanda Duncan, not today.
Well, and she snapped though, like, because just before that, she was begging for him to stop and get it together, and you know, you don't want this to happen.
That's right. That's what the next chapter is, y'all. Arya and Syrio are at their dancing lesson, and all hell breaks loose, and they come for Arya and Sansa. So. Well, does anybody have any questions? It's getting close towards 10, and I know we all work and have kids and have other commitments, so we don't want to keep everybody. If nobody has nothing else, next week, I believe it's Arya 4. I'm not 100%, but I know it's chapter 50.
Thank you, Nancy. You're the best. Thank you for always coming. We love to see you. Mwah, 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 mwah.
So night to Nancy and Stacy and Amanda and Bran and Dog Sidious and Septishana's Secrets and Amanda and AU and
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for popping in and coming by. Al, Red Sox fan.
Oh, was Chrissy here too earlier?
I didn't notice.
Maybe I was confused. I saw her earlier on what Dog Sidious was here earlier, right?
Yes, Dog and Al popped in. Amanda, Stacy. No, thank y'all. And we'll see y'all next week. I believe it's definitely chapter 50. It's Arya. I think it's Arya 4, but yeah, we're fixing to see the Arya Syrio Farrell thing. And I know the other book club does more chapters than we do, but we try to keep it a little bit shorter and get everybody's comments and all that.
I don't know. Does everybody like want us to do like 5 chapters a week? Because I'll tell you, I will fail.
All right, everybody. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see y'all next week.
Okay. Mwah! Love you.